Hey everybody. So I've been toying around with the laser. I got one back in probably April of this year. Doing a little bit of the wood stuff and started doing glass. And I've read off and on all over the internet that you can't engrave or mark tempered glass. But then I also saw where you could, seen people do it. So we're gonna give this a shot here. Sometimes best information you can get is just by doing it yourself. So we got just a real El Cheapo Wally World candle plate here that we're gonna give this a run on. And first thing we're gonna do is clean this up with some rubbing alcohol. And I have found one of the tricks to doing glass is cleaning both sides. Even though we're actually marking just on the one side, any residue that is on the back side that you're not marking can potentially cause that laser to mark as the laser light goes through the glass. Went through a few different plates before I learned that. So this is looking pretty good here. Give it a little bit more on this side. Okay. So we'll go ahead and move this. And for a lot of the glass I do, mostly plates, I just made a real simple little stand to hold this upright. And we'll give that a couple minutes here to evaporate out. And what I'm going to be using, and again, there's been a lot of opinions out there about what you should be using to mark on glass. A lot of people swear by the marking spray, the Ceramark or anything like that. Personally, this is my go-to. Just a real basic dollar store tempera paint. Usually cutting it about 40% or 50% water just to make it pourable and flow. And something else I also came across, the internet, was the fact that you cannot airbrush with tempera paints, which I found that to be a lot of crap. Found that actually on a lot of art websites that you can't thin tempera paint and airbrush. It won't work, it'll ruin your airbrush. Well, I'm running with just a real basic Harbor Freight airbrush, so I don't really care if the needle gets all goobered up as long as it does what I need it to do here. Okay, we'll kind of test our flow here a little bit. Get that adjusted. Now what we want to do here is not try to goop it on, but do several layers and several passes and slowly build that up, because we want a layer that's going to absorb the blue diode laser light. I'm using a diode, not a CO2, and then effectively mark this. So I think we got something that'll work here. So we'll go ahead and get to it. Okay, and we'll give it a break in between putting a couple little layers down. And we'll go ahead and rotate this so we can kind of get a crosshatch pattern on there to help darken that up. You do want to let this dry a little bit between coats. A lot of people online will use a heat gun or a hair dryer or something of that sort, and that works, but I find I usually get a little impatient knowing that I'm doing something that's supposed to make it go faster. And with tempera paint, if you get it too warm or dry it too fast, it'll start cracking on you, almost like a orange peel effect. And that is not what we want, because then we'll have to wash it off and start all over. So we'll go ahead and start going the other way on this. Okay, we'll give that a few minutes to skin over and dry up a little bit. And the set I'm using, picked it up on sale at Harbor Freight. It's the Avanti kit. Comes with the airbrush and the compressor. I've been using it, I don't know, about a month and a half now, because I used to try to brush this stuff on glass. It works technically, I guess, for other people. Didn't work worth a damn for me. I was spending more time trying to paint and touch up the glass and get everything even than I was actually running this stuff on the laser. So I had to come up with something a little bit better of an idea for myself. And this so far seems to be working, regardless about what the art sites say that you can't airbrush tempera paint. Seems to work just fine for me. I've done a couple sets of plates now, one that I sold and one that I'm giving as a gift to some neighbors, and it actually turns out a lot more consistent of a quality on the marking on glass, since you have quite a bit more control over what you're putting down and how thick it is. Okay, we'll go ahead and shoot this one or two more times here. Okay, it looks like we're a little thin on this one side here. Okay, we'll go ahead and give that a few minutes here to kind of skin over and dry up, and we'll check and see what we got. Okay, we've given that a chance to dry up a little bit. As you can see, me and my fat fingers had nothing better to do, so I ended up smudging it there, tried to cover it up. The only downfall with this is usually if you smudge it while it's wet, you almost have to start over, because you're never going to get an even layer to cover up that spot that you smudged. And on plates, I've had to do that more times than I really want to admit, just because me and my fingers don't always play nice together. So we'll give this another couple coats here, and we'll take a look and see how much light we can see through it. Give her another flip here. Okay, let's see if I can keep my fingers off the paint here. That's not looking too bad. We're gonna hit that light spot one more time here and give her a little more time to dry again. Alright, we'll give that about 10-15 minutes to dry and set up, and we'll take a look at it up against some light and see what we're dealing with. Alright, we gave that about 15 minutes or so to dry, and I think this should do it. Yeah, We'll get you up here. Put it up against some light. And you can barely get the outline of that shop light there. So we don't need a complete blackout, but we do need enough to absorb that blue diode laser. So let's go ahead and take this over to the engraver. Okay, this is the monstrosity I have created. It's a longer array 5. It's only a 10 watt. I originally started out with the base unit, ended up getting the extension rails to give me, it's about 32, 33 inches worth of working area square, which is plenty of room for what I've been doing so far and what I'm going to start doing. And now one thing you want to do if you're doing glass, you want some sort of a honeycomb or a knife bed or something, because if your laser actually goes through and hits the wood underneath, it will create smoke and fumes, and that will cling to the glass like nobody's business. And when the laser tries to go through it, it can actually etch on the side that you're not trying to etch on. So you'll definitely want to have the honeycomb, and I also raise it up so I can get some airflow underneath the piece to make sure to evacuate all the fumes that are in there accumulating. So we will go ahead and get this set up here. Alright, cut that ventilation here so we actually have semi-decent audio. We'll go ahead and slide this out and run it to the table. Alright, so here's what we're looking at. This is, of course, the bottom side that we did actually mark. Give her a flip over here. And I'm not feeling no etching on this side, so we did get it clean enough on the top side. And one other reason I kind of prefer to use the tempera paint over spray paint, or I've seen permanent marker used, whatnot, is that it is water soluble, so the cleanup is way better. I started doing plates with spray paint originally, which works fine. It's a lot faster than doing this, but if you ever get interrupted in the middle of a job, say you get pulled away for a couple hours, good damn luck getting that spray paint off. I don't care what chemical you use, it's gonna take you forever. So we'll go ahead and just get this all cleaned up here. Give that engraving a real good scrub. Make sure nothing's left behind on that. Okay, let's go get paper towels here quick. Whatever residues off of there. Okay, that seems to have worked, and let's just temp fade a little bit here. And it doesn't really seem to have affected the integrity of the glass at all. So I'll grab something here quick to contrast that against to get a good look at her. All right. So that did not turn out too bad. It's actually fairly squared up. I think I could have went to the left just a hair. Might have been a little bit more centered, but overall this is pretty centered. I'll take a look at the back side here, see if I can get a good close-up without getting the camera reflection. And it does a nice frosted etching. And now on my laser, again it's a 10 watt. I believe I use 600 millimeters a second at full power on this. So I think that will work. I'll have to start trying to score a non-retail price on some of these, and they'll make some handy gifts. Friends, family, neighbors. Maybe even sell some of them once I get my selling game up. Alright, well that should do it. Thanks y'all for watching, and see you next time.